Hey everyone, Scott Player here. Now that I have seen Lilo and Stitch that came out this year, I want to go ahead and do a ranking video. Now I'm going to do this from worst to best, and let's talk about this, shall we? So if I had to pick my number 5 out of the 5 movies we have now, I would probably put Stitch the movie in last place, just mainly because once you get to this one, after Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, there's a bit of a character redesign for some of the characters, and the animation style just feels a little bit different, and it's also like it feels like a pilot for the show, and it very much is that. And I mean, it's still very much enjoyable. It's still a very enjoyable film that you can get through. It feels like a pilot for a TV show, kind of like the Clone Wars movie. But that's where I would put Stitch the movie in last place out of the 5 movies that I've seen so far. And now in my number 4th place, that one is a, let's see, if I really had to think about it, I think probably Leroy and Stitch. If I'm being honest, as much as I do really enjoy, like, granted, like, I don't dislike any of these movies. Like, all of these movies I really enjoy. But, Leroy and Stitch, I would put at my number 4th spot, just mainly because it's been a while since I've seen it. I'm still working through the TV show, and once I'm done with the TV show, I'll rewatch Leroy and Stitch. But Leroy and Stitch, it's a movie I also very much enjoy. I don't dislike it really, but I think it's kind of like the culminative, kind of conclusive story to the Lilo and Stitch saga, and that's what I really like about it. It feels like it's the conclusion to the continuities that started with Stitch the movie, and that's what I absolutely love about Leroy and Stitch, as well as Leroy kind of being like an evil version of Stitch, basically. And it's a movie I do very much appreciate for that. But I had to put it at my number 4th spot. I had to put it there. So my number 3. Now, between the original film, Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, and this new film, I think, it's a toughie, because I think realistically, because I've only seen the new movie once, so I'd have to see it again to really think about this ranking, in regards to. But I think as of right now, I think I have to put the new film in my number 3 spots, just mainly because it's a movie that I very much enjoy. It's definitely one of the better remakes we've had in a while. But, with that aside, there are a few issues that I do have with it. There's not too many things I dislike about it, but it's, and also it is a very well done film. I love this new film. But yeah, it's in my number 3 spot, and mainly because Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, this movie did something rather fascinating, because it took its premise and went for a more personal story, and that personal story in which Stitch is kind of not sure what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on with him, right? And there's this whole thing with Jumba, and how he never got a chance to finish, like, kind of like charging Stitch in a way when he first created him. And there's just this personal story there, especially with Lilo and the hula dance that she's trying to come up with. And that one song that we've heard so many times now at this point, aloha oi, aloha oi, and also the theming of friendship, and that just really amplified how much I really appreciated Stitch 2 as Stitch Has a Glitch for. Just that personal story there and some of the theming there with friendship, it just really just created this story that I appreciate so much, and that is why it is my number two on this list. And of course, the original film at the very top. It's still the best out of all the other films. It's still the movie that basically was part of my childhood, and these movies, like all of them, specifically the original, they made me appreciate science fiction from when I was so young. These movies are why I love science fiction so much. These movies are why I love science fiction now as an adult. Because back then I used to watch cartoons all the time, and the Lilo and Stitch movie came about, and it just made me like the concept of like space travel and different alien species. Just the concept of that just really started to hit my brain when I saw the original film, and I was like, oh wow, this is really fascinating. I want to see more of this kind of stuff. And that's just what made me so fascinated with science fiction as I got older, and now I love the genre so much. It's probably my favorite movie genre, and that's why I had to give Lilo and Stitch credit for it. It was the movie that really got me into that, and that this was the pinnacle of my childhood, and I love this original film. It is easily one of my favorite Disney movies. I can't get enough of it whenever I rewatch it. It's just so fun, and this new film also just being as good as it is just reminds me why I love this franchise so much. So that is my ranking of all 5 movies from worst to best. I love all these movies really. Just having to pick and choose which I would place in this ranking. So I'm sure the rankings will be different for other people. So let me all know what your rankings are down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care and peace.